Okay, so number 1 says the net of a square pyramid and its dimensions are shown in the diagram. What is the total surface area of the pyramid in square feet? So they're asking for total surface area, so that means we could go ahead and find the area of all the shapes. Now, if you look at it, there is a distractor there, and what number do you think that distractor is?
10 or 8, no,
12. It's 12. So you really don't want to use that 12 because it has nothing to do with the base and height of any of the shapes. So now let's go ahead and do the base and height of the triangle. Remember, it's going to be A equals half the base and height. So the area of the triangle is half of what's the base? 10, and the height is 8. So half of 80 would be 40. So then that means all these triangles are 40. Okay, so then all we have to do now is find the area of the square. So the area of the square would be what? It's going to be 100 because it's going to be 10 times 10, which is 100. Okay, so now that we have the area of everything, so all we have to do is do 40 times 4, because there's 4 triangles, right? That's 160 plus 100. So that means the total surface area is 260 square feet. Okay, so on the other side, you have the triangles we've been working with, and this triangle is asking us to do excuse me, this thing won't come off. The total angles. So remember, when you add up the interior angles of a triangle, it adds up to how much? 180 degrees. Okay, so now if I have 180 degrees, so what we do is we're going to go ahead and subtract 28 from 180 degrees. So that's going to be 100 and what? 180 minus 28 is going to give us 152. Okay, now if you notice, it does give you, if it's asking you for an equation, so we know that it equals to 180 degrees, and that means I need to look at the total, and they all have that. So what is it that they're doing incorrectly, though? Which one's the correct answer? So is it 54 plus 2x equals 180? I'm sorry? Is it 54 plus 2x, does it equal to 180? What did they do with the 54? Where did we get the 54 from? But the 54 is nowhere on that, right? So that means we can't use 54. Can we use, so 54 is not correct. So we're crossing those two out. So then we have 28 plus 2x equals 180. And then 28 plus x equals 180. So in order for me to get the measurements for those two angles, what do I have to do? Divide by 2, right? So if I divide by 2, that's going to give us 76. Now, if it's divided by 2, that means this is 76 and this is 76. So which equation shows that you had to divide by 2, C or D? C. Okay, and now that we know what the measurement is of the angles, then that means we could answer number 3, and number 3 would be letter B. And we're done with that. So remember, whenever you're writing an equation, it does have to equal to 180. Just if you could solve it, remember, to write an equation, you just have to go backwards with it. That's it. You do the opposite of it. So yesterday we were doing volume of prisms, and volume of prisms, all it takes is for you to actually find the area of the base, and then find the height of the prism, and then you multiply them, and that gives you your volume. Well, now we're going to be working with volume of pyramids. Now, if you look at it, this is the formula for finding any volume for any pyramid. So if you notice, it says 1/3 of the area of the base times the height. Well, if you look up here, I have a cube. Okay, this is a cube, and this cube actually is 3 pyramids. Okay, there are 3 pyramids. It creates it, so that means that if I know the volume of 1 pyramid, then all I have to do is multiply by 3 to give me the volume of the cube. Okay, so we know how to find the volume of the cube, right? It's area of the base times the height of the cube. And that's what it is. Well, if I know the volume of the cube, then all I have to do is divide it by 3, or 1/3 of it, and you get the area of a pyramid.
That's cool.
Okay, so basically, this is what we're doing today. So remember, with volume of a prism, all you have to do is find the area of the base times the height. But now with pyramids, you have to find the area of the base times the height, and then get 1/3 of it, which is the same as dividing by 3. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So we have this on the bottom of your paper. So you do need to fold up your paper, and I'm going to put it on the bottom. That way you know that it's going to be on the bottom. So make sure that you're writing as your title, volume of pyramid. Now, if you want to do that example like I have here, I'm going to go ahead and put the template in the Google Classroom. And all you have to do is actually fold it, tape it, and then make it into a puzzle. Because when I did this, I didn't really know how it went together. But I did the 3 pyramids, and then I just tried to get them into a cube, and that's how I figured it out. So it's kind of a puzzle. So I'll go ahead and put it in Google Classroom. That way you could do it if you would like.
That's super cool.
Okay, so we have a rectangular pyramid, and this is, the formula is volume equals to 1/3 of the area of the base times the height. Now, basically, that transformed, because this is a rectangular pyramid. That means there's a rectangular base. So then what you're going to do is you're going to rewrite the formula to look like something we already know. So we're going to go ahead and put volume equals 1/3. Now, the capital B is area of the base. So that means you're multiplying base and height of the base, and then times the height of the prism. Okay, so go ahead and write that on your paper too. So it transforms to the base and height, the capital B transforms to base and height of the square or rectangle. So now that we have that, then let's go ahead and find the the volume of this pyramid. Now, if you look at it, you have, yours is different, shows different on your paper. Mine is side by side, yours is top and bottom. So make sure you're doing that. So this is the top one, the one with the 15, 8, and 5. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and write the formula. So volume equals 1/3 of the base and height of the square is going to be 8 times 3. And the height of the pyramid, if you notice, is 15. So then I'm going to go ahead and multiply 8 times 3, which is 24, and then times 15. Now, you could get 1/3 of one of them. Oh. Okay, going back, this is times 5, not times 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's 5. And 8 times 5 is 40. So you could get 1/3 of any of those two numbers, either 40 or 15. So I know that I could easily get a third of 15, right? Which would be what? 5. So then I'm going to go ahead and do a third of 15. So that's going to be 40 times 5. And 40 times 5 is going to be 200. And again, because it is volume, it's going to be cubic centimeters. And that's all you have to do. As long as you get a third of one of the numbers, then you're done with doing a third. Okay, so the next one, if you notice, this is on the bottom of your paper. So the next one, again, we're still using the same formula, but now we have a base that's a triangle, so make sure you're shading that in. Because shading it in, the first one was shaded in for you, but shading it in helps you to find out what dimensions you need. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. So we're going to do volume. Volume equals to 1/3 of the area of the base times the height of the prism. So 1/3, what is the base and height of the triangle? I mean of the rectangle, sorry. 8 times 7. And the height of the pyramid is 6. Okay, so volume equals 1/3. 8 times 7 is 56. And times 6. So I could get 1/3 of what number? 6. So that's going to be what? 2. So 56 times 2 is going to give you 112. So that's 112 cubic inches. Okay, so if you remember that all you have to do is take 1/3 at one point or another. It could be at the beginning, it could be at the end. But as long as you're doing it once, then your answer should be correct at the end. So always look for the ones that are divisible by 3. Remember, divisibility means that it's divided into evenly. Yes? Okay, so now what we're doing is we're doing a triangular prism. Now, pyramid. Triangular pyramids, you have the same formula, but the area of the base, or the capital B, is what changes. Because now we need the area of a triangle. Before it was the area of a rectangle. Now it's the area of a triangle. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and substitute that capital B with the formula for area of a triangle. So the capital B is going to be half of the base and the height times the height of the pyramid. Times the height of the pyramid. So we're going to go ahead and shade in the triangle. And the first one's been shaded in for you? Yes? Okay. I could barely see it. Okay, we'll shade it in because that helps. So that's your base. And what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and just substitute what you know. So we don't know volume, so that stays the same. You have 1/3. Now it's going to be 1/3 times 1/2. And what's the base and height of the triangle? Because the base is the triangle, right? We shade that in. So what's the base and the height of that triangle? The triangle we shaded in. 12 and 10. And then what's the height of the pyramid? 7. Okay. So now what we're going to do, if you notice, I could get 1/3 of one of them, one of the numbers, right? And I could get half of one of the numbers. So let's do that. So let's do 1/3 from 12, which is 4, right? 12 divided by 3. And let's do half of 10, which is 5. And then we still have the 7 there. Did everybody understand what I did there? Okay, so what I did, I multiplied, because all of this is just multiplication straight across. So I multiplied 1/3 times 12. And basically when you multiply 1/3, that means you're dividing by 3. Okay, so what's 12 divided by 3? 4, and that's where I got this. Then I went ahead and did half of 10. And what's half of 10? 5. So that's 5. And then we didn't do anything with 7, so we just brought it down. So basically, didn't we do order of operation kind of?
4 times 5.
Sort of? Yeah, but we're combining what we could do. So now all we have to do is do 4 times 5,
20 times
which is 20, times 7.
40.
So that means this volume for this pyramid is 140 cubic inches. Okay, on the next one, we still have a triangular pyramid, and we're going to go ahead and shade the base. And remember, because it says triangular, that means the base is going to be triangle. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and rewrite the formula. Now we're going to go ahead and substitute what we know. So the area of the base is going to be, oh, actually, I forgot part of that. That's 1/3. So that's going to be 1/3 times 1/2. What's the base and height of the triangle?
Base is 8.
Base is 8 and 6.
Times 10.
And then the height of the pyramid is 10. Okay. So if we look at the numbers, what can I get 1/3 of without it having a remainder? 6. So then 1/3 of 6, so we're doing 1/3 of 6, and that's going to be what? 2. 2. Now, what can we do half of? 8. So I'm going to do half of 8, which is 4, and then we still have 10. So now all we have to do is 2 times 4, 8, and 8 times 10. So that means the volume of this pyramid is going to be 80 cubic inches. And we're done. Now, guys, remember, if you can't do it at the beginning, take 1/3 or 1/2 of it, then what you need to do is just multiply all 3 numbers. So I could do 8 times 6 times 10. So 8 times 6 is 48. Times 10 is going to be 480. So 480, if I divide it by 2, it's going to be 240. And 240, if I divide it by 3, is going to be 80. And isn't that the same thing we got down here? So you could do it at the beginning, or you could do it at the end. It's up to you. As long as you could see it, it's something you need to remember. And it's only for triangular pyramids that you have to divide by 2 and then divide by 3. Divide by 2 and then divide by 3. Any questions? No questions? Okay, so then what we're doing now is you have 4 problems and you have about 18 minutes to do this. These 4 problems, you have 2 square pyramids or rectangular pyramids, and then you have 2 rectangular pyramids and 2 triangular pyramids. Remember, shade in the base. Now, when it's asking you for area of the base, you could choose to fill that out. You don't need to fill that out. All you need to do is fill in the volume. Okay, this is up to you if you want to do it. Okay, that's up to you if you want to do it. If you don't, I am only going to be looking for the volume. So those 4 questions, you should be able to turn them in before you leave. Okay? Mm-hmm.